The number one key focus of this program is to train your body to improve coordination so that it moves the way that it's actually supposed to move, which is something that we're just not trained properly on when we're younger, or something that many people train throughout their lives. And if you don't use it, then you're gonna lose it. So in this program, what we're gonna do is relearn movement at its most basic levels and then building on top of that. So let's just talk about what movement is real quick. Movement is just a series of stretch and recoil from lower to upper, left to right, and back to front. So as humans, we are upright, bipedal, contralateral reciprocators. What that means is that we stand upright, we walk on two legs, right, bipedal, and contralateral reciprocation means that whatever happens on one side of the body, the opposite is gonna happen on the other side of the body. Let's take walking as an example. When I'm walking, as I'm reaching forward with my left leg and my left pelvis, my right arm is actually reaching forward, right? So this is contralateral reciprocation. And if you look at what the spine is doing here, essentially what the spine is doing is it's ringing back and forth, kind of like you would wring out a washcloth, but it's opposite sides of the spine that are working together. Make sure you pay attention to this right now, because this is a lot of what we're gonna be working on inside the program. So when we walk, as I reach forward with my left leg, I'm reaching forward with my right arm. And there's many reasons for that. One of them is just being balanced. So that's what you're gonna learn and what I want you to think about throughout this program. Stretch and squeeze. Find the stretch and squeeze the stretch. It's really just that simple, and you're gonna hear me talk about this on all the videos. Find the stretch and squeeze the stretch. So there's just two things I wanna talk about real quick in this video. The first idea is the idea of ground and plants. So as I'm walking, when I take a step, you can look at the difference in my feet right here. The foot that's flat on the ground throughout this whole program, this is gonna be considered as the ground leg, right? So pay attention to your ground leg. This is what I mean, the foot that's flat on the ground. The other foot that just has the toes planted down, that's gonna be called your plant leg. So the foot that's flat is your ground, the foot with the toes is gonna be your plant. What's happening here is that the body needs stability for balance. So when we step, our ground leg is in front. We're stepping into this hip. That means this hip is gonna be tightening up and holding us balanced while this leg comes up and swings through, right? So this is gonna be our ground leg. So this is where all the tension is that's holding us upright. Now watch this. In just one step, my feet change. So now this is my ground and this is my plant, okay? So in just one step, the ground and the plant change. And this is just what we do when we're walking. So you could think about this as your body is balancing you by shifting your force back and forth into your ground with every step you take. And that brings me to the next point, is transfer of force. When we walk, we actually transfer force from one hip into the other. And you're gonna be doing a lot of this in the program. We're gonna be learning a lot about this in the program. But basically, like I said, you're just gonna be transferring your force from one side to the other, from lower to upper, from left to right, and from back to front, okay? Just try this real quick to get an idea of what transfer of force is. What I want you to do, set up in your walking position so you can stand with your feet together. Just take a small step back and go on your toes. And then all I want you to do from here is I just want you to shift into this hip. And then when you come back into this hip, lift these toes up. And now you feel the stretch in this side. And I just want you to work on going back and forth and feeling that tension in your hip. This is just to give you an idea of what ground and plant is, because we're gonna be doing this in almost every exercise that we do throughout this program, so make sure you learn this.